Hi, in the last video we have seen the how to install the JavaFX plugin to the Eclipse. I'm using the Eclipse version Photon that is released in the 2018. We have the recent Eclipse also that also you can utilize, and we have installed the plugin version is 3.6 because the plugin latest available plugin version is 3.6. So if you can see here, it is the latest available version. That's why I have taken the latest version 3.6.0. So you can even if in future if you are seeing this video after releasing the 3.7 or 4 point something, then you can go ahead for using the latest available plugin. So my Eclipse is Photon Eclipse, and Eclipse version is Photon. And now today we are going to see how to use the scene builder, that is the UI builder, to build a UI for the JavaFX programming. So let's go with the scene builder. You can download the scene builder from the website called gluonhq.com. From here you can download. So we have currently we have two available versions of scene builder. That is one for Java 8, another one is for Java 11. So based on your current JDK installed in your machine, you can download. So we have the Windows installer as well, and the Mac installers, and even the executable jar file. So I'm using here Java 8 JDK 8 version. So what I will do, I will just download the executable jar files. After downloading the executable jar file from here, just click here, it will download. After downloading, you can double click and it will you can run that executable jar file. So as soon you run, it will be appearing like this. You can choose the different types of default available templates, like desktop application development purpose. You can take the basic application and the complex application. And the mobile, if you're developing the mobile application, you can take the empty mobile view and default some implemented mobile view. So for our demo purpose, I'm going to use the empty screen. So here I'm going to take a anchor pan. So you can drag from here anchor pan and you can drop here. After this, I'm going to use some pan. In the pan, I'm going to use the so it design is like drag and drop. So I will show here how to design the login page. How to design the login page. So for the login page, what are the things we need? We need a two input fields and labels. Label 1 and label 2, and label 1 label 2 you can just change. I will change it as user name colon, and here this one is password. And we need a buttons, so you can just type here button, what button you want. I will use the two buttons. One button name I will give as submit, and another one you will give as reset. By the drag and drop operation, you can also manage the button size. Here we have so many options, like providing the CSS. You can also provide the CSS color. If you want to give the button color, like some button, so I can give the background color, can give like this. So I will give it as blue. Okay, later we'll see. We can use the W3 school for color coding. That also you can give. So for on this button and input fields, what we have to give, we are going to take on action, something we are going to do with these things. So we have to give the ID for this. I will give the username as this ID, and for this I will give as password. Here you can see username and the password. For these things also we need the ID and the button. If you really need ID, you can give. For this action I don't need the ID. I need some event to occur on action. What event you are going to give, right? So I'll give the submit action and reset action. So what exactly it means? On action, what kind of method you are going to execute? Method will be denoted by hash here. So I'm going to execute the method reset action. Okay, on click of this button, submit button, I'm going to invoke submit action. ID denotes if you want to do some manipulation with the button, like you want to change the button name or the label name, you can use the ID here. ID, give the ID, and in program you can use that ID. So here I had given the user. Let me save this. Go to your application. Let me take this path. Control S. I will give some name for this particular file. Sample. Okay. It will get saved there. So here you can come and refresh. Here we have. So one more thing you have to do, you need to give the controller here. So I am going to create a controller. Controller. So what it mean controller? Controller is actually a Java class. So we are going to create it here. What is the main fundamental thing to create a controller is wherever you have given an ID, like we have given an ID for the input fields, and we have given an ID for the submit button and or action for the submit button. These we need to configure into the controller. So controller need to implement implement initializable. Actually we have to implement one the default method, that is initialize. Okay, what we have to write here, what that all things we will see. And here I'm going to configure the whatever the fields we have used. Text field, even you can see this fxml here, but better you need to save here properly. In the fxml, you can see here these are the IDs. Okay, this is the on action. In the controller, you need to configure that. So it is actually a text field. I will take it as a private text field from the Java scenes. It is a user name. This username, whatever we have given here, it is actually the same name. It should be same name of this one. You can see I have installed the plugin, so it is even giving me a flexible validation. Flexible validation also we are getting. So that's why better to use the plugins. If you do any mistakes in the programming, you can able to see. So we have a button here. I did not given the ID for the button. If we have given the ID for the button, then we need to again configure the same way. So however you are configuring with the text field. So now here I have declared the on action some method. So let me write the some methods. Best practice to declare all the methods and the variables in the controller as a private. So my method name, as I said, it should be same as declared it in a fxml. For methods and variable declaration, the same annotations you can use. See, again the validation was perfect. Now if you see our fxml file, there are no errors because controller is easily able to map. So after this, where we need to invoke this fxml files. For that, we need to create a main class. I'm going to create a main class. We did for the before we did a few of the programs. The same like that we have to write application class, write the unimplemented methods and main method. In the main, we are going to execute the launch. And here, actually what we did, we have invoked this stage dot show and stage dot set title stage dot set scene. When you say set scene, now our scene object will come. So scene object is going to expect the root, right? So root from where we are getting? From the fxml file. So fxml file loader dot load get class dot get resources. What is my resource name? Our resource name is sample dot fxml. So when you have sent the scene, so we are going to send the some height and width. Sorry, not to the scene. We are going to send to the scene object here. I'm going to send height and width. Now you can execute this you should be able to see the GUI, whatever the GUI we have built it. You can see we are able to see the GUI which is built. I have written some methods on click of these things. So let's write a code for those two variables. So let me go here. Okay, before you see the window, if you want to show some title or something, then you can write a code here. Okay, in the initialize, or I will show you. If you want to set some text to the input field, I want to set some text like example. So you can declare that here. On invoke of the window, like title you want to set, then title you can refer here. Now on submit, what it has to do? It has to read the input fields, both the input values. So username and password. So what I will do, string username equals to username dot get text and the string pass equals to, from where we are reading it from input fields from the UI. That I will show you how we are reading from the UI. So we need to validate uname dot equals admin sysout success, else failed login. So that kind of reset, and also we are going to implement the reset operations. What is reset? We are going to set the text, that means we are going to remove the text to null. For our confirmation, we'll put a reset called. Now let's run our main program. We did a initial setup, correct? So now if I have given some value here on submit, see it is saying example, whatever the username password I have entered, login failed because it is not admin. So if I enter admin, better click reset called. So nothing is there now. Now I will click admin, something you can give because password validation we are not doing. See, username is admin, password is admin, success. So this is how it is going to work. Now here password is not a it is showing right in the UI. Instead of input field, you can take a password field. So to the password field, you have to mention the name as password and save it. Close this one. We need to rerun. It's no more text field. So here we have to declare it as password field. Now it's not a text field, right? So password field. I'm going to declare it. Now when you run this, see, example, if you submit, it will show the login field because it is not admin. Reset admin. Now you can enter the password. Password will come in a asterisk format, dot format, because it is a password field. When you submit, it will print here what you username password you are entered, because we are printing in a sysout. Now success because username is admin. So this is how we can build a very good GUI, still improved GUI with the complete project development. I will explain in the next video. If you have not subscribed till please subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.